You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Bold and the Beautiful fans. Today, we're going to talk about the absolute worst romances of this year on B&B. We're going to go from not good at all and count down all the way to completely and totally awful. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt. And before we dive into the worst romances of 2025, please click subscribe. All right, let's get right into it. We're going to start with number 5, which is bad. And we're going to count down to number 1, the very worst couple of 2025. So let's get started. Number 5 on our list. This bad romance was between Brooke Logan and Nick Marone. And it's not that I don't like them or dislike the characters or the actors. A long time ago, Brooke and Nick were a really good pair. But this time, when Brad Bell decided to bring back Nick, it was honestly a total waste of the viewer's time and energy. They made such a big deal of Jack Wagner coming back on the show, and that, you know, the actor was hinting that there was something big starting for Nick and Brooke. And Jack was also, you know, basically saying this could be the first of many more returns for Nick, and that there was all this potential for Brooke and Nick. And that was obviously stuff that I'm sure Jack Wagner was told to say by the B&B press office, but it just wasn't true. As far as we can tell, I was looking forward to seeing Nick and Brooke reunite, but like really reunite. Like many fans, I thought it was time that she put Ridge behind her, put his waffling ways in her rearview mirror. And then it became quite clear that Brad Bell was never going to deny Destiny, and Ridge was always going to be Brooke's endgame. And he said that in an interview with an Italian magazine, and we broke the story here, that he gave away before Nick even came back, that it was never going to work out. So there was all this big buildup for ratings about Nick's comeback in the U.S. and these interviews over here that were very positive. And then in this Italian magazine, Brad Bell said, yeah, it's not really happening. Brooke's going to end up back with Ridge. So of course, they contrived everything. Nick, who is an experienced ship's captain, couldn't handle boat problems with a tiny watercraft. Brooke went overboard. Ridge swam from an island all the way out into the sea to rescue Brooke, and that was it. The end of our number 5 worst romance of 2025, Brooke and Nick, ended up, of course, with Ridge. Number 4 on our worst romances of this year list is Ridge and Taylor. This reunion was bad from the jump because I think we all knew it wasn't going to stick. B&B fans always knew Ridge would eventually break Taylor's heart by going back to Brooke. And guess what? We were right. It would have been a nice change to pair Ridge with Taylor again and give Brooke a sizzling new romance with Nick or somebody else. But instead, Brad Bell did the same old he's been doing for decades, with Ridge running right back to Brooke. Ridge is a waffler, bouncing between Brooke and Taylor for years and years, so fans were just hoping for something different. But we suspected from the moment that Ridge hopped from Brooke to Taylor without even waiting to officially split with Brooke first, that Tridge was once again doomed. I am excited to see how things go for Taylor and Deacon, though, but I definitely don't want to see Ridge with Taylor ever again. It's always a mess. Number 4 on our list. All right, so number 3 on my list of pairs is not technically a romance because it was so one-sided. An obsessive, awful would-be romance with Remy Price and Ridge Forrester. So this creepy Remy storyline on Bold and the Beautiful began in late 2024 and carried over to 2025, and now they've resurrected it again. It's still playing out now since Remy is back in Electra's orbit because he's dating Deacon Sharpe, who is work friends with Electra. So if you don't remember, Remy's from the same hometown as Electra, and he stalked her online. He tormented her, did these deep fake nudes while wanting to be with her and while being in love with her. And Elektra just thought he was her good friend. So Remy, being with Deke, reopened all these old wounds for Elektra. I'm not even sure why Brad Bell wanted to pair Deke with a creep like Remy, but I would say that not only are Elektra and Remy on the bad pairs of 2025 list, honestly, so are Remy and Deke, because he is too good for Remy, who is just terrible. All right. Our number 2 bad romance of 2025 is another horrible obsession that just ended in death. Another one-sided non-relationship. And of course, that is Luna Nozawa and Will Spencer. Now, again, and technically, Luna's romance with Will was all in her head, and it was totally one-sided. But it made our list because Luna traumatized Will with her fixation on him, and she really thought there was a romance there. Luna's been obsessed with Will ever since Bill Spencer got her that pardon, and she spied on him and decided she wanted to be a Spencer too. And since Bill rejected her, Luna set her sights on Will and was determined to get him to be with her and love her. And once Luna was shot and presumed dead and then saved by Lee, that's when her obsession with Will really ramped up, because once Luna recuperated enough to walk, she snuck out, got Will drunk, and then molested him to intentionally get pregnant. But now, of course, Luna has miscarried. She escaped from prison and she got run over by a car. So she is supposedly and hopefully dead and gone from Will's life. But Luna definitely earned her place as the second to worst romance of this year. And the number 1 worst romance of 2025 on my list goes to Carter Walton and Hope Logan. So when Carter first got with Hope, it was strange. And out of nowhere, these two people who have interacted with each other over the years all of a sudden had this history we'd never heard about, where Carter was talking about how he had been into her for quite a while. But the problem is that overlapped when he was dating her Aunt Katie. So they just made up this non-existent history with Carter having a thing for her. And then things got ickier when Hope was pressing Carter to stage the coup, and they both went power mad. Being together made Hope and Carter both worse people than they were. And then Hope improbably agreed to marry Carter, even though she clearly wanted Liam Spencer. And during the fake cancer crisis, it became obvious that Hope and Carter were doomed to fail. Honestly, Hope and Carter's chemistry for me was not great, and they did awful things to the Forresters when they were together, and their breakup felt inevitable from the start. Now, I will say that at least Hope and Carter was something new and better than seeing Hope fighting Steffi over Finn or fighting Steffi over Liam. The triangle thing is tired, but based on the bad deeds they did together, them moving too fast with no buildup and this invented fake history, it was just a lot. It was too much. It wasn't good. That's why Hope and Carter made our worst romance of 2025 number 1 spot on our list. But at least they're over, and Hope's back with Liam, and Carter is moving on with the very beautiful Daphne Rose. So let's hope for better romances in 2026.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.